Oxford Historic Preservation Commission meeting for Monday, July 21st, to order at 5 o'clock on the dot. I hope all of you have had a chance to look at the agenda. Are there any questions about tonight's agenda? No? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Okay. I'll say Priscilla. Anyone to second?
Second.
Luke seconds. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Next thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the June meeting, June 16th. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes? Are there any additions, corrections, or changes to the June minutes? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the June minutes as presented?
So moved.
Okay, Luke makes the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Jimmy with the second. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the June meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we're ready for our staff report. Nothing? Okay.
Staff is moving to a new office on Wednesday.
Oh, okay. And where will you guys be located?
Station. It's across from the Coach Howell Activity Center.
Oh, nice.
Are our meetings moving there?
Not yet.
Not yet, but
I thought
eventually
so,
they will.
but then I was told they're still renovating that, will be sometime next year.
The annex right next to the police, that will eventually become, at the commission meetings, but we'll start that process, new budget.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, if you look at your agenda, there has been one case that was approved administratively, and that was included in our packet. Does anyone have any questions or comments about the administrative approval? Okay, we'll move right on to our public hearings. And we have case 834, a COA request by Timothy Garner for the exterior modifications to the existing structure located at 419 Van Buren Avenue. And,
Judy, thank you. Well, first a correction, it's 3 structures.
oh, okay,
That's
3 structures.
These were built all at one time under the rules of in the early 2000s. And so now they are being renovated to be sold as a common interest development. Only one is really visible from the street. If you've driven by there, it looks like an earlier version of a sorority house, and 2 others are behind it. It's described as having basically colonial revival influence. Oddly, the inventory only describes the front structure, not the other 2, but they're essentially the same. The front one has the 2nd floor balcony. They will substantially change the exterior, but without any substantial construction. They're talking about the slurring of the red brick with the white, taking off the vinyl shutters, replacing the lights with tall brass lanterns, replacing the doors. The single doors was transcend with wood double doors. They're to be painted kind of a high gloss black bronze color, adding those wood louvered privacy screens on either side of all the porches to give some privacy to the people who are living here. Painting the garage doors the same black color, and replacing all the white gutters with metal gutters in the black color. So that's the essence of the changes. The guidelines language for new construction just states that the changes need to be sensitive to issues of compatibility and existing relationships between the structures and their setting. This property is surrounded by a mix of contributing homes and newer, more recent structures. That building should contribute to, not detract from, the character of the district. Since this application has no structural changes, there's really only 2 of them that seem to be applicable. One relates to the type of materials used, and one's to the type of doors to be used. The only new construction materials are for the screening panels and replacement doors. The painted wood will be compatible with other homes in the district. The changes to the doors, the lighting, the gutters, et cetera, will update the appearances of these dwellings without becoming excessively contemporary. Regarding the white slurry, in older homes, this is discouraged for maintenance purposes. It can damage older bricks, but in more recent construction, it is not as problematic. And these were built in 2018, so that really isn't an issue for this. And the staff concludes that the proposed changes are, including the lighting, doors, gutters, and removal of the shutters, are compatible. The wood privacy screens will be sufficiently compatible and helpful for the new owners. Collectively, staff does not object to the request to use the slurry paint. Collectively, while the changes are substantial, they provide an attractive, not quite contemporary look, which reflects historic, unornamented homes in a sort of simple Federalist styles that are seen in American small towns. So we would thank you. We recommend that you consider approving this.
Thank you. Mr. Gardner, do you have anything to add? Okay. Okay. Anyone from the community present? I don't see anyone. Board, do you have any questions or concerns?
Can I see the front of the current house again? Okay.
Those yellow shutters are what's coming down.
That's,
Oh, they are?
Yeah, if you flip through, you can see just a couple more slides over. You can see what it, I think, looks like now. There you go.
Oh, okay.
that's fine, I just wanted to pick another.
One of them's got yellow on.
But the windows, you're not changing out the windows, those are all separate.
I think they're nice, small changes. Nothing structurally.
That's what will be on the either side of the doors and either side of the garage.
Okay. Is there any more discussion or questions for Mr. Gardner or anything? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve case 834?
So moved.
Okay. With the motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Jamie with a second. All those in favor in approving case 834 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. Next, we'll discuss case 835 COA requested by Joel Lyons for new construction located at 102 Kennedy Cove. And Joel has actually been here in front of us before for a complimentary hearing, just to remind the board. And then I think, Virginia, you have to recuse.
I do.
Thank you. All right, let's hear from the South.
I'll wait till Virginia. The applicant came to you in May for a complimentary review of his home design. It's the lot, if you've surely driven by, is at the top of a curving but rather steep and short drive. It's located approximately 150 feet back from Jackson Avenue. So that's closer to the view that you're going to get we're seeing renderings that look like you're right in the front yard, but it's going to be pushed back up there and slightly behind the house on the right. At the review, the two-story house, you go back to the house. Do you have the house from last time? You took it out of the packet. Okay, I've got one here. I'll pass it around. Oh, good. Well, I've got this one, so I'll just pass it around for him. At that hearing, the house, it's still a tan color brick and dark wood siding, dark frame windows, and a mix of asphalt and brown metal roofing. The color palette and more contemporary design differ from other homes on Cove Drive and Shaw Place. They are white painted wood or brick with prominent front porches, and all but one are traditional architectural styles. The one next door is a more contemporary style, but it does have a front porch. It's also white. The home has an uncovered entry patio and the prominent two-story entrance made of primarily of glass, a wide bay pushed out to one side, a smaller wing pushed back off the street. The concerns or comments from the complimentary review related to structure massing, roof line and visibility, and the location of the garage and the amount of glass in the design were discussed. And the applicant has submitted revised plans addressing some of your concerns. First, a metal roofed overhang has been added to the entry, the double entry there, which will be nice for people coming in the door if it's raining, a little covering. It also somewhat reduces or modifies the visual intensity of that two-story glass entryway. Next, to address a concern about massing, the garage has been pushed back. In that original version, it was to the front and contributed to a large facade presence. That is now pushed back 20 feet, and he was able to do that by turning how the bedroom is located behind the garage and pushing it more into the backyard. And that does visually reduce the massing of the house from the front. Two changes to the windows on the front facade have made it, we believe, feel a little off balance. Originally, that large two-story glass entry was offset by, on that front bay, a large window and then two smaller windows, but they were the same height. And now you've got the large window and two tiny windows at the top. And on the bay to the left of the entry, there were two windows the same size on top of each other. And now the top window has been made smaller. So it does reduce the symmetry of the house to a certain degree. Let's see. No other features have been changed. The primary visual statement of this home is that it uses materials in earth colors with a prominent two-story glass entrance. However, take into account, this is a view as if you're in the front of the driveway. This is going to be back up on the hill, pushed back with the view to the right partially obscured, so it will not look as prominent as it does in that photo, or that rendering. As noted in May, new construction in a horse historic district needs to be sensitive to issues of compatibility and contribute to the character of the historic district. In this instance, the design of the home needs to respect other neighboring buildings. This home will be of similar proportion to and compatible with in size and massing other homes in this development and in the general area. The massing is derived from the articulation of the building facade. In this instance, the change in the location of garage has now made its massing similar to other homes in this development. And when I said the development, it's the two streets, Shaw Place Drive and Kennedy Cove, that were created from land that was originally part of the Shaw House. So anyway, it has made it more compatible and reduced the massing with the relocation of the garage. The roof shape will be compatible with others in the area. However, the window sizes has made it somewhat less compatible. The home does use traditional materials in terms of the brick roof and wood accent siding. So those are very traditional materials to use. The doors are to blend well with other buildings on the street. The front door is within a two-story glass facade that is the predominant feature of the design of the home. It is not a traditional design, but the location is well removed from Jackson Avenue, which does soften the impact of that feature. Staff considers the materials proposed for this home to be compatible. Although the color palette will differ from others on Cove Drive and Shaw Place, there are other dark painted homes and dark brick homes along Jackson Avenue, so that is not unusual. And the modification of the garage location has reduced the visual bulk of the home when viewed from the road. That home will be placed between two other large homes, and it is no larger than other homes built in this development. And all of these lots are topographically below the Shaw House, which reduces the impact on its, the importance of it as the visual center of this. But the change to the two sets of windows in the front facade are problematic. The home cannot avoid looking more contemporary because of the visually dominant two-story glass entry. For the home to retain a level of compatibility, the rest of the facade needs to reflect a more traditional symmetry. The prior window shapes, in staff's estimation, did that more effectively, and you have that. You can look at the difference in how those windows were balanced. So we would recommend you take that into account, and with the exception of the new proposed window designs, staff finds what has been proposed to be sufficient.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lyons, if you would like to come up. Yeah.
Good evening. Thank you all for taking the time to hear this and the complimentary review. At the complimentary review, I noticed a couple new faces, but we had a lengthy discussion. You know, I think originally, we got past the garage location and the fact that it had to be street facing, given the topo of the lot. It's just virtually impossible. But, by pushing it back, it solved two things. It softened the overall facade of the house, but it also helped with the parking situation in Kennedy Cove. With it being basically to the front, you had to park in the garage. If you have guests, there was nowhere to park. You would be blocking John and Jan Dean from their driveway. And so I met with them and Bo Russell, who's building the new build that's almost done to the right, and that's what we came up with. And so I think overall this helps the garage situation, but it also helps the parking, which, yes, this is going to be a spec home, but it's going to be a very, very nice spec home. So I think making this change was definitely worth it. If you could, I want to go to sheet 105, because I know there's a lot of discussion about the windows and symmetry, and I want to kind of look at the architect's drawing. These professional renderings are very close, but I also want to look at sheet 105, let's see. Wait, I'm looking at last month's. That's what I keep finding. Yes, 105. Okay, there we go. All right, so Jonathan Maddox was present at the complimentary review, and I've worked with him in the past. So I engaged him after the review because he was here and heard the feedback as well. We knew the main focus was the front facade and the windows and trying to tone that down. And so you start at the top left, second floor. He recommended making that window with the transom a single. Because you look at the right, both those windows, although they're not as tall, have the transom in the same pattern, but they can't be as tall as the one on the left because of the roof line. So that's why we changed to the single. I would be perfectly fine going back with the double that replicates the bottom one in that top left corner if that is more appealing to the board. So that's window issue number one. Now, if you'll notice from the first to the second rendition, mainly the middle glass, we did add the awning for covered sitting. And And so that helped break up the glass. And the reason, and I think Judy and I traded some emails on this, if you look down where the person's standing at the front door, that's the double door. The window to the right could be floor to ceiling, but that's where the radius staircase is. And I mean, it's right up against the window. Jonathan recommended this type of window so you wouldn't see the side of the stair right there. More of aesthetics. I'm not opposed to, from a symmetry standpoint, if it needs to be floor to ceiling like the front door, we can make that work. We'll just have to build that staircase and clad it before we put it in, you know, because you wouldn't have room once the window's in to get it cladded or painted or whatnot. And so the siding you see, it is more prevalent in the rendering, and around the front facade is reclaimed siding material I have from the Shaw House. I live at the Shaw House and fortunately came across the guy that removed the old lean-to log cabin years ago, and he still has it. And so he's milled a lot of the woodwork, and I have it in the Shaw House. And I was going to use what we have left for that front, the porch ceilings, that sort of thing, just to, you know, keep some of the history with the property. Now, you'll notice on the fancy rendering, that right window is bigger. But what Jonathan recommended is the left double window on the left side, replicate that on the right for symmetry. So we did that. Now the two smaller transoms, and all these windows will have transoms, just whether different heights or whatnot, they're going to have the transoms so they all have the same look. We had the small transom with shutters on the right side of each. One of those rooms is the closet, and one is a full bathroom where the shower's up against. So it's a challenge to have a full height window. We could do it in the closet, but then I think that would really change the symmetry if you had a single tall window in the closet and then have to go with the transom in the shower. So that was the logic behind that, and that's what Jonathan had recommended.
Could you do, those two small windows really throw me off when you look at the facade of the house. I think they're very visually incompatible with the rest of the house.
You know, one thing we could do
You
is
could do one window.
we could do one window in the closet, full size, with the full size shutter. We could do that. That would be the one on the right. The one on the left, we could build a full size shutter and have it closed, like it's not one that's just screwed to the wall, an acting
Like a phone.
shutter with,
Yeah.
and have the S hook. And so you'd have the window with the shutter, then you'd have the single with the taller shutter. Or if
But
you
there-
guys
there
think,
aren't any other shutters on the house.
Right.
oh yes, there, if you look to the right,
Oh, I see, yeah.
and then if you go to page 106, the next drawing, you'll see that there's one on that left side and there's one right there. And then on the back side, in the master, you see, I'm sorry, go back to the other one. There's shutters along those higher transoms, which is the master bath, master closet. That's just to get light in there, but at the same time, have privacy, because John and Yaldine's house is right next to it, and they got a full set of windows that you could
Right.
wave at. So that was the thought process that Jonathan and I came up to tone down the glass. I mean, I think we all agreed the first set was an amazing set, but maybe didn't just address the historical aspect enough. And so that's what led to these changes.
Thank you for considering some of the comments from the complimentary review. Appreciate the time that took. Does anyone have any more questions or discussions? I personally am like Miss Judy over there. The windows are a little off now. That wasn't a big problem for me when you came with the complimentary review, but now it kind of sticks out to me.
If you go back to the front facade, would,
Just the size of the tiny ones. I don't know.
Yeah,
They just
I
look
don't
like
have
they're
an
about to
issue
blink
with
at you
the
or
other.
something.
Yeah, they should have like
Yeah.
fake eyelashes.
Yeah. And that's not
You know,
anything in our guidelines. That's just my opinion. So that really kind of
I
doesn't.
think visually, it really detracts from how beautiful the house is.
Right. I think you did a great job on the new drawings.
thank you. What about, we don't have to have a window in a closet, obviously. Ideally in a bathroom, you do like some natural light, but that's a guest suite bathroom. So it's not the primary. What if we do a similar sized window, can remove those two small windows there in the front, and if you go back to sheet 105, to the right, that double window with the transom, what if we put that and have shutters closed that are the same size so it's more symmetrical? And then we just don't have a window in the bathroom or closet. That's not a great big deal. That's one option that just comes to mind.
I would like to see that before approving that that's good, and trying to think of one other solution, but maybe you'll come up with one.
Yeah, and I would like to say that I don't think the house, the problem that, or I guess the feedback that we gave you last time was that the house looked too contemporary in the historic district with the other houses, and I don't think it's substantially changed. I still see this, I see tweaks in the house, but it's still the same house.
You pointed out some good things on the photo that we distributed.
I do like the awning that separates the glass. I like the awning that was added. It does break up the glass. There have been some improvements, but it's the same feel. And I guess that that whole section of the house where the closet and the shower is, kind of looks like it needs to be in the back of the house, not the front.
That's a good, yeah.
It's functional, but it doesn't. Now, I hate to even say this because it's a new construction house, and if you look at all of the bullet points, you are hitting a lot of the bullet points that's required, but then just the house just didn't change enough from the last time.
I mean, is it fair to say I addressed those two small windows in some manner, and then it comes down to the front side, the middle section, that's really probably driving most of that?
I think it's the front middle. I like the front middle section. It's just it's just where the house is located, and the only thing I don't like about the house is that shower closet front section of the house on the right. That
Well,
It's kind of, the architecture is kind of legends-like.
I'm sorry, it's what?
The English architect legends. I don't want to redesign it. I'm not going to do that.
I mean, it's really a great floor plan. You look at the site plan, and we talked about this at the complimentary review too. It does create yard, which particularly at Kennedy Cove and the one on the right side of my home, there's absolutely no yards. In fact, one person bought 2 lots and built the house on one and has the other one as his yard. And so when I designed this and did the placement, and we're also dealing with a lot of topo. I mean, this is a lot that's like this, that we're gonna drop in a 6-foot retaining wall around the property lines, and that way it does allow for the yard. And it's a very, it's not a box, your building envelope setbacks is not a box. I mean, it weaves in and out all over the place. And so that's how I ended up with the diagonal area from the garage to get that house more in line with the other houses. Like the Russells to the right, I mean, streetwise, we're all aligned. If I had to push that lot back, or the house footprint, the 2/3 of the right section back, you lose the yard, but it's way off the street compared to the houses.
You did a good job trying to maximize the space and the lot layout. You did a good job with the lot layout.
I've seen the lot, and I can tell how it's going to be situated. I'm just trying to visualize how much of the house will be seen from the street, like
From Jackson.
like the top part or I don't know.
There's a good amount of upward slope.
Right.
It's not, and I design stuff unassuming, or I try to.
Yeah.
It's not level 1, level 2
Right.
in the roof. So you're not, it's gonna be very similar to Bo's house on the right.
Yeah.
I mean, and he's at a lower topo.
You're up higher than him, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
But again, we're cutting down, so we're gonna be basically at the same street view as Bo. Like Yadine and John's house to the left will be more prominent from down on Jackson Avenue, because
Okay.
it's higher too, but then they have the 2-level with the roof on top.
Any street views or any documentation of that neighborhood as it is right now?
Yeah, we had a picture earlier that was up there.
I don't want to speak for anyone other than myself, but I think the whole concept of all of this is that, does it fit? Are these things, is one of these things different than the other? Kind of going back to the Sesame Street idea, right? And I think if I'm hearing others speak, that is a large part of the question. And I would like to just refresh my memory about like what other structures look like near there.
So you see the house on the left?
Missing here is the new house that's being built.
I'm sorry.
The house that's missing here is the
Right.
one.
It's gonna block from street level. It's gonna block. You may only see the garage and part of that left section down from Jackson.
But I don't think that should be a reason why to do something that you won't see it.
I'm just answering the question
Yeah,
like
no,
it
I
is.
understand. Yeah.
I mean, that's just the
Yeah.
lay of the land there, I mean, there's nothing any of us can do to change that. So yeah, see, from that view, that wall is part of my wall in front of my property. You know, that's what you're gonna be looking at. So a lot of the house from Jackson is not gonna be visible.
And now that other house is there.
Yeah, and the other house blocks,
By the white-
and it, you know, frankly, it, you know, coming up Jackson, it blocks my house. You know, you can't see the Shaw house until you get past that. You know, coming down from Bramlett on the other side, yes, those are, large, you know, as far as scale. They're the double balconies and the roofs on top, very tall homes, but they're 8 foot down in elevation because they got a big wall in between my property and theirs, and then it slopes like this up to the Shaw property and then levels out. So you can still see the Shaw house, the main house. You can't see the new addition in the back, or, you know, we're about to start the pool house and pool. You're not even going to see that from the street. But the new house on the west side for Russell, I mean, it does block your vision of the Shaw house. And
It's a
also,
loomer.
I'm sorry?
It kind of looms over the space.
I mean, it is what it is. It's a nice looking house, and it's a little aggressive on the historical guidelines. I mean, it's got a flat roof. It's got parapets. It's, you know, it's. I mean, so you can vaguely see it there, you know, it's, the front porch is a flatter roof, and, you know, I know technically, we talked about this during the complimentary review about street facing garage. Technically, their front door faces Jackson, but really the front is there and the garage is fronting the street, the Cove Street, not Jackson, but,
Any more questions or discussion? So if, I'm trying to figure out how we could proceed. How does the tabling work? Like if you wanted to see more of his ideas based on what we've said?
He agrees, you mutually agree to table it, you can come back next month with some further ideas. I think I heard you discussing the front gable, mainly. So I think that's what they'd like to see. I mean, is that all related to creating more symmetry on the front facade? And really, that's all that's going to be seen is the front facade.
Right.
And part of the front facade. So maybe a type of rendering that gives you an idea of what you would see from the street would be a help. Just from the
from
street.
Jackson.
From Jackson Avenue. I'm in my car going, God, what if I look, which I shouldn't. I gotta see. But I think all the discussion I heard, correct me if I'm wrong, related to that front gable.
Correct.
Front gable windows and the two small windows with the shutter.
And then there's always the back, as Jimmy mentioned and Rachel mentioned, the back thought of how it fits in. And I do understand that a lot of these houses in the area, they don't look exactly like each other, but they seem to all fit. And I think that's also a concern of some board members, is how it will fit, the look of it, which, as Jimmy pointed out too, you have adhered to the guidelines. So that's just something that's harder to objectify, I guess.
And that's one thing I like about the house, is that it is different, but it's just too contemporary for the setting. And
Can we all agree that we can go natural brick and non-painted white brick? Or not painted white brick, or, I mean, that painting the house would probably soften the windows because of the brightness of the paint. But, I mean, I'll do what the board recommends, but I prefer not a painted house. Keep the natural
To me,
materials.
that's not an issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not at
Okay.
all.
I'm just saying, like, if it is painted, the paint's gonna take your visual away from some of the window because of the sharp white paint. And my preference is not to paint it. I mean, I like the natural brick and having the reclaimed lumber from the Shaw House milled and used on the
Oh,
front
that's very
facade
attractive.
and the porch ceilings and,
I think they like that.
okay.
I think what they're talking about is the symmetry of that front facing, sticking out facade. And you've softened the two-story facade with the overhang, but the proportions of the front changed with the window shape.
Right.
And you offered a couple of different concepts of how that would work differently. The first version, they were symmetrical. And I think the part of glassing on the facade that they were concerning them originally was the two-story glass entry, that's a lot of glass. But that didn't change other than the new awning. You changed the part that was symmetrical. So you had some other ideas. I think you mentioned you might want to go, if you want to agree to a tabling to bring back to that.
Jimmy, can you pass it?
Yeah, I'm certainly, it doesn't sound like everybody's on board for approval, so if we need to defer and come back, I mean, that's my only option.
And the good thing is to take into account the specific things they're mentioning and don't worry about the rest of it. They like them.
Okay, that's fair enough. Can we recap? I'm
I was
sorry.
gonna say specifically, it's that portion on the house on the right where the closet and the bathroom are. It's like, it's not just the windows, it's that whole section.
It looks very contemporary.
Contemporary, well, it looks more, it looks more functional than stylish. It's like, well, we need an extra room, so we'll put it right here up front, because that's where the lot dictates we put it, the layout. I mean, I hate to say it, but the garage looks better than that. The house would look better if you had the garage right there. But I'm not recommending that.
What about if we just went back to those two original bigger windows?
The singles with the shutters that are full height.
Instead of,
I'm open to that, and I can change the layout of the bathroom somehow.
Move the shower or
So
something.
that, yeah, move the shower or do something to overcome that. Or we could do those two singular windows per se and have operable shutters that are fixed and have the S-hook that resemble windows there, but they're shuttered.
So those could be two options that we can look at.
So I'll run with that option. I also show an option of making a double. You go back to page 105, please. I'll go back on that right side we're talking about. I'll go back with the two singular tollers with the shutters as one option. I'll show a double window shutter that's closed, the same size as the window on the right. There'll be two options that we can discuss.
I mean, I don't want to redesign the house, but like if you had a balcony above that first floor bedroom, that would even kind of make it look more.
On the right
That
side?
would work. I'm sorry?
On the right side? I'd have to think through that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like talking.
Design it, yeah, I mean, it's, when you pull up and see the house, like the Russell House blocks that entire side of the house. So if you went back and redesigned that with a maybe even a double balcony or a first floor balcony. From the street, it's not gonna give you that look. I mean, now, once you get up there and pull in the driveway, you'll see it, but even coming up Kennedy Cove, it's completely blocked by the Russells, and they added a,
But someday that house might burn down.
well, let's hope not.
I think if you could incorporate some kind of an architecture detail that's different than the two renderings we've seen. And they're different, don't get me wrong, but that is a little softer, maybe would be a good word. That might be of value.
But that's just losing windows, basically. It's that,
I'm
mean,
sorry, say that.
is that basically just losing the amount of glass on that entrance area? And that whole, section going through the house is open to below. And so, it's, you walk in the house, you can see straight through to the backyard. Is the concept and reason for that.
Any more discussion? Are we in an agreement that we would like to request to table this COA until next month?
Yes.
Is that okay with you, Mr.
Yes, ma'am.
Lyons? Okay. I would like to make a motion that case 835 COA requested by Mr. Lyons be tabled until next month's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor for tabling the COA, say aye.
Aye.
Can we recap a couple other things real quick, just so that I address? If you, the first set of drawings had the double window on that left side that replicated the one on the bottom. Would you like to see that go back to the double?
That would be a good start.
Okay.
I think you have a couple of good ideas. If you could put them on paper for us.
Yeah. So we know about the right side, and I'm gonna come up with some options there. Double, back up top. Figure out how to soften
Yeah,
the front.
right.
And then I'll get a rendering from actually down on Jackson Avenue to the house versus halfway up the drive.
That would be helpful, yes.
Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all's time, and I'll
We appreciate your time.
get to working on it, and I'll be in touch, Judy, with you with Kate being out, so. I saw her, I ran into her Saturday night. She's doing well, so hopefully she's back soon. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Okay, that seems to be the last item on our agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Luke makes the motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Priscilla. All those in favor to adjourn the meeting at 5:48 PM, say aye.
Aye.
Right, we're adjourned. Thank you.